that us going on social media is causing us to get involved with something that's actually highly, highly addictive, because I am Dan Warburton, a transformational coach who's known for having enabled thousands of entrepreneurs and business owners to succeed in extraordinary ways. I've also got web spaces full of testimonials backing this up, and I'm often invited to speak to audiences of thousands around the world about what transformation makes possible. I now get to live an extraordinary lifestyle, and I want you to be able to experience the same. Today, I'm going to enable you to gain some new, deepen insights in how to succeed as an entrepreneur or business owner. And I'm at the same time going to be covering and deepening the insights I've gained from the hero himself, Simon Sinek, with a video called Why You Don't Succeed. Here are a few of the sections that inspired me.
I have yet to give a speech or have a meeting where somebody doesn't ask me the Millennial Question.
What's the Millennial Question?
Apparently Millennials as a generation, which is a group of people who were born approximately 1984 and after, are tough to manage. And they're accused of being entitled and narcissistic, self-interested, unfocused, lazy. But entitled is the big one. The generation that we call the Millennials, too many of them grew up subject to, not my words, failed parenting strategies.
Here you get a sense of what he's speaking about, the millennials. Younger people that are now coming out of university, and they're really struggling, they're in a hard place. However, he speaks about here that the cause of that is, as somebody else has quoted, bad parenting as such. However, though that might be the case, that's not where we're going to find the solution. The solution we're going to find in this is by looking at what are the interpretations and the views that these kids have of themselves and the world. Why is that the place to look? Because it's always here that we're going to find the motives behind why they feel how they feel and why they don't take the actions that's required of them to truly succeed. Here's the next section.
The other problem, to compound it, is we're growing up in a Facebook, Instagram world. In other words, we're good at putting filters on things. We're good at showing people that life is amazing even though I'm depressed, right? Now let's add in technology. We know that engagement with social media and our cell phones releases a chemical called dopamine. That's why when you get a text, it feels good. Dopamine is the exact same chemical that makes us feel good when we smoke, when we drink, and when we gamble. In other words, it's highly, highly addictive, right?
Here, Simon Sinek very clearly speaks something that's very evident. That whenever we go on social media, we get a high from it. And that high is the high that we feel from the release of dopamine. And so that means that us going on social media is causing us to get involved with something that's actually highly, highly addictive, because things like smoking and cigarettes cause us to also feel the dopamine that then has us become addicted. So this is absolutely spot on. Now, the only way that we can replace something that's addictive is if we find such a deep meaning and quality of life that those things that usually cause us to feel addicted don't have that power over us. So how are we going to do this? Well, we've quite simply got to be disciplined and do the inner work again. You've got to find out, what is it within you that you're surviving? What is it that you're worrying about, and where does that come from? Then you can transform that, free yourself of it, and then secondly, you've got to choose a new and inspirational future to live into. Doing that is going to be the thing that's going to have you succeed. And especially for youngsters today, we've got to enable them and empower them to do this deeper inner work for themselves. Here's the next section.
What's happening is, because we're allowing unfettered access to these dopamine-producing devices and media, basically it's becoming hardwired, and what we're seeing is as they grow older, too many kids don't know how to form deep, meaningful relationships. Right? If you wake up and you check your phone before you say good morning to your girlfriend, boyfriend, or spouse, you have an addiction. And like all addiction, in time, it'll destroy relationships, it'll cost time, and it'll cost money, and it'll make your life worse. Right?
Here, Simon is speaking about the impact of being on social media and being addicted to social media. And that's that the whole time that you could be deepening a relationship or practicing a skill or mastering something, you're not. You're on social media all the time. And I know that this is the case everywhere, and I'm sure you do. When you go out on the street, you don't see people generally looking round and smiling. More often than not, you see people walking along looking at their phones, or if you just go on any public transport, everybody's on their phones. And so when it gets to the point that you'd rather be on social media than have a conversation that's challenging, what's happening is you're giving more and more power to the addiction and that way of running away, rather than doing the deeper work to develop the skill that's required to really create those deep, meaningful relationships. Yeah? Makes sense. Here's on to the next section.
Right? Now you add in the sense of impatience. Right? They've grown up in a world of instant gratification. You want to buy something, you go on Amazon, it arrives the next day. You want to watch a movie? Log on and watch a movie. You don't check movie times. Everything you want, you can have instantaneously. Everything you want, instant gratification. Except job satisfaction and strength of relationships, there ain't no app for that. They are slow, meandering, uncomfortable, messy processes. And so what this young generation needs to learn is patience. That some things that really, really matter, like love, or job fulfillment, joy, love of life, self-confidence, a skill set, any of these things, all of these things take time.
Here he speaks about how, instant gratification is the thing, that you can get everything you want very quickly and instantly, bang, bang. Even children as young as 3 or 4 are often given an iPad to watch just to keep them quiet. And the problem is, this builds them up into this, I want it, I get it, I want it, I get it. But then when you're out there in the real world, that's not the case. Out there in the real world, all skills, all relationships only happen with consistent commitment and focused action. And the only way to actually become skilled at taking that consistent focused action is to become aware that you're procrastinating to begin with. And it's to become aware of what is it that we're fearing happening in our future that we're not even willing to do the work now to go through and the other side of into success. We'd rather just avoid those things, and then as a result, it's then avoiding those things that also has us ever avoid actually being able to become successful. Here's the next section.
It's not them, it's the corporations, it's the corporate environments, it's the total lack of good leadership in our world today that is making them feel the way they do.
So here he speaks about the corporations, that it's now the responsibility of the corporations to basically coach and empower and enable the youngsters of today. And I would actually not only agree with that, but I would say it's now the responsibility, as it's always been, of every human being to take time to care for other human beings, to give them their time to enable those other human beings who are in depression to have the breakthroughs in their mind in conversation to be able to actually go forwards and begin creating a life they love, a life where the height of their life isn't to look at the mobile phone or to look at the next message, but to create a life where the height of their life is the enjoyment of their work, of a deepened relationship, of a deepened enjoyment and the satisfaction that they get from a skill. The responsibility is all of ours. And the best thing that you can do is learn how to coach and how to empower other human beings so that you too can pass that skill onto more generations and ever empower more people and more people. Here's the next section.
There should be no cell phones in conference rooms. None. Zero. But if you don't have the phone, you just kind of enjoy the world. And that's where ideas happen. The constant engagement is not where you have innovation and ideas. Ideas happen when our minds wander and we go, and you see something, I bet they could do that. That's called innovation, right? But we're taking away all those little moments.
I absolutely agree with this, that we're taking away all those moments by constantly being on our phones. One of the most ancient forms of being creative or creating a space for creativity is meditation. Because what happens in meditation when you sit quietly with no distractions and you don't give in to your temptations but you just sit there and watch, is that you start to allow your mind to wander and you start to allow new thoughts and new insights to pass in front of you. And that is where, as Simon says, innovation takes place and happens. So if you're really succeeding, or should I say really struggling to succeed, and you're not getting anywhere fast, then it could be because you're just not creating enough space in your life. And what I suggest to you is don't look at your phone last thing at night and first thing in the day. And begin to just pause a little bit more as to using your phone. And when you walk down the street, look around you and reflect. And I promise you that if you do that, you will get new insights and you will begin to see inspiration rise up through you. Here's the final section.
We now have a responsibility to make up the shortfall and to help this amazing, idealistic, fantastic generation build their confidence, learn patience, learn the social skills, find a better balance between life and technology. Because, quite frankly, it's the right thing to do.
As he says here, it's the right thing to do. I totally agree. It's time that we really took on a lifestyle where the actions we take cause two things. Firstly, that each action deepens the quality of this present moment, and secondly, ever creates a better tomorrow. So think about it. Does being on social media all hours of the day deepen the quality of this present moment and ever create a better future? Might give you some kind of satisfaction or quality in the present moment, but does it create a better future at the same time? No, doesn't work. Whereas if we now take on a lifestyle where every action we take deepens the quality of this present moment and ever creates a better future, and we empower other people to do the same and master this, together, me and you can create a better world. If you've got an entrepreneurial friend, then make them feel special by sharing this video with them. Also, feel free to contact me about anything. And don't forget, if you're truly committed to succeed, then hit that subscribe button.